Humans and demons have been fighting against each other since the beginning of time. Humans have tried many times to reach the Demon King and defeat him for glory, but none have succeeded. One day, the news of the Demon King, the leader of the land, reaches the deepest part of the sea where the king of the sea, Geol-eum, lives. Geol-eum decides that she will fight against the king of the land to see who is the strongest. But when she uses a special necklace to walk on land, she suddenly loses all her powers and turns into a small kid. She becomes so weak that she can't even defeat the lowest level monsters. She manages to get herself to a village that is furthest away from the kingdom of the Demon King. There she lives a boring life trying to kill small monsters to get money for food. One day a warrior from the front lines, Geol-eum, decides to visit the village. On the way home, Geol-eum hears Geol-eum and his companions talking about a king's hidden tomb, filled with treasure and a demon-vanquishing sword. She decides to follow the three to a cave. Inside the cave is a hidden castle. The group cautiously make their way through the castle, not knowing that they are being watched by a mysterious figure. Suddenly, Geol-eum hears the door of the castle move, but before she can make a decision and leave, the door closes, making the group of heroes turn around and spot her. The group is immediately suspicious of her, but Geol-eum manages to convince them that she is a simple village girl who just wanted to help the group of heroes. The group believes her but tells her to leave because of the danger. Just as she is about to leave, the group is attacked by the mysterious figure. The group fights against the figure, who turns out to be a demon. Geol-eum tries to convince the demon into not fighting and let them go in peace. When the demon rejects his offer, Geol-eum warns him that he will be no match against three heroes that have fought on the front lines. The demon then reveals that they aren't his target and attacks Geol-eum. He reveals that he knows that she is not human and is only using this form as a disguise before stabbing her through the chest. And just like the little girl falls on the ground as if she means nothing, Geol-eum finally rushes to the demon to attack him, but he uses his bat wings to create a distraction and then hit Geol-eum's back. Poor warrior falls, causing the ground to split open from the impact. The demon then says that he can kill every human warrior in the room with no effort at all, but she simply does not want to because he has other more important things to do. But the other heroes cannot understand this, and they try to attack the demons. As expected, with only one kick, he sends them flying back. The demon is surprised how easy the girl died because he thought that she was their trump card. Geol-eum is confused because to him, she was just a normal village girl. And the demon finds this amusing because the powerful hero from the front line could not even realize what sort of power he had beside him. He tells Geol-eum's injured body that she is not a human, but is wearing a human disguise. He wanted to know more about what creature she was, but sadly she died quickly. The demon presses his foot on Geol-eum's chest and the poor warrior coughs up blood, making his companions worry for him. The demon then says that he should unalive them as well so that he can get the king's sword because he is there to find that as well. This then gives a proposition that they will leave the quest for the sword if he spares their life. The demon seems to think about the deal and lifts his foot from his chest, but then he pins Geol-eum back to the ground. He then gives his evil smile and says that he wants to unalive the humans not due to the sword or the war between them and the demons, but because he finds happiness in doing so. Meanwhile, the girl is in another state and can't believe that the mighty king of the sea can die a pathetic death like this. She realizes that she is missing something, but then the pain is too much for her body to handle and she sees herself following the light. That is until her necklace starts to glow and she remembers about a mysterious being who gave her the necklace and said she only had 3 chances. She did not understand what it meant then, but as feels her manic coming back to her, she realizes that it is not the end for her. That's how the king of the sea regains her power and stands tall behind the demon, just like he was a few minutes ago. He then turns around to see the girl alive and is confused because he just unalived her. He is lost in the thoughts, and when he looks down, Geol-eum's body is no longer under his feet. Someone came with the speed of light and snatched his body and plopped it against the pillar where his companions tended to him. The girl is running so fast that the demon cannot keep track of her and can only see the smoke she leaves behind. That is until she suddenly appears in front of him and punches him straight in the face, causing him to crash against the wall. When the demon is recovering from the impact, he realizes that half of his face and arm is gone, but he cannot understand the type of power the girl possesses. He regenerates but realizes that he was right about her all along. When the party was seeking it earlier, he was watching them in the shadows, but when the girl ran beside him, he suddenly started sweating from the energy that was coming from her. He didn't understand it then, but now he thinks that his body was truly afraid of her. The demon then takes the attack on his ego and unleashes his weights again to fight the girl. On the other hand, the girl cannot understand why her powers came back, but one of the reasons is because of the attack the demon launched on her. She then taunts the demon, saying that she is the king of the sea, but the demon does not believe her and says that if she is the king, then he is the demon lord, but the girl does not appreciate his sarcastic humor. She uses her powers and drags him closer to her without him realizing. The king then punches him on the face, causing him to fall back on his butt. The demon finally realizes that she is not moving fast, but it is him who is being dragged towards her on her command. The demon is trying to think about what move he should play next when he is being dragged again. The girl then says that the castle is only the place for the kings and weak demons like him do not belong there. She is about to punch him when the demon unleashes his wings and tries to create a distraction by obstructing her view. When the girl is finally trapped inside the tornado of his wings, the demons lunge from behind. But the girl is able to see his pathetic move from miles away, and she turns towards him and uses her magic to throw him back. The demon tries to take it all lightly, but he knows that she is quite powerful, and his powers are nothing in front of her. Meanwhile, the party of heroes are trying to understand what sort of demon the guy is. The black-haired girl says that he has red eyes and long black wings like a devil. Apparently, there is a famous fairy tale in their hometown which says that a devil has the appearance of a normal man but has red eyes and black wings that cover the sky. One of them does not believe in the devil and thinks that his friends have gone mad, but Yus clarifies that he knows that the guy is not as evil. He is just a very powerful demon who is possibly a descendant of ancient species, and if their guess is right, then they are not fit to fight a battle with such a powerful being. But when they see the devil struggling, they realize that the girl is not an ordinary fighter. The girl then explains that she came to the land because she wants to meet the other king and show who is one true ruler. While she is rambling about her plan, the demon thinks of ways he can fight her, but he realizes that there is no winning from her. The king takes offense that the demon is not listening to her and tries to get his attention. The demon then starts to fly in the air to get away from her, but the girl has one more move up her sleeve. She punches the demon and the ancient creature bursts through the mountain into the air until he reaches space. The guys fall back on the ground, utterly defeated and injured, and the girl realizes that her powers are going away again, so she needs to act quick and smart. She turns to the party and tells them to run as fast as they can while she'll try to end the fight. Hews to the demon and asks for any last words from him. The poor guy is now asking her to space his life, but the girl does not listen to him and braces for another attack, but it does no magic because her powers are gone again. She starts to freak out internally, but when the demon asks why she is sparing his life, she continues to act as if she still has her powers. She then puts her terms and conditions towards him and says that he has to agree to them or else she will evaporate him. The demon agrees to whatever she is saying. Later, she bids farewell to the heroes and says that they all can call her Yuria, even though that is not her real name. And when they are gone, Yuria gestures to go home, and just like that, the tiny girl has unlocked a new source of transportation, which is a piggyback ride from an ancient demon. It's been a few days since Yuria and the demon have left the cave behind, and since she has made the demon into her servant. While they were still in the cave, Yuria had sealed the demon's power away so that he would be weaker than her, but that had its disadvantages, as now both of them aren't strong enough to earn for themselves. They spend their time stealing fruits and running away from soldiers. While running away from the soldiers, Yuria realizes that even though her strength has been sealed away, she still has her speed. One day, mail arrives for Yuria from Yus. In the mail, he has sent a sword that Yuria and the demon can sell to live their lives peacefully. This leads to Yuria realizing that she forgot all about the king's treasure that they left behind in the cave. The next day, Yuria goes to sell the sword that Yus sent them, but it turns out that he had accidentally sent the wrong one. While worrying about how they will earn money to buy food for themselves, Yuria finds the demon standing in front of a wall filled with commissions for the public. Yuria tells him that they can't complete these commissions because they involve killing monsters, something that they both can no longer do. Suddenly, the demon sees a commission about a monster investigation in the Silent Forest, and they both quickly accept it. While in the forest, they are chased by high-level monsters when they suddenly run into two adventurers. One of the adventurers saves them by putting up a barrier. Yuria thanks the two, and after they learn that Yuria and the demon are heading towards the Silent Forest, the adventurers ask them if they can tag along because they are lost. Yuria happily lets them tag along and reveals that they are also lost. The two adventurers tell Yuria and the demon that they were looking for their leader who had decided to leave them behind and go investigate the Forest of Silence. But while they were looking for him, they became lost. They explain to the Yuria and the demon that the Forest of Silence is considered dangerous because whoever goes inside doesn't come back out and gets lost forever. Yuria says that maybe they are lost inside the Silent Forest right now, but the girl adventurer tells her that they aren't in the forest because the entrance of the forest is a giant cursed tree that they haven't passed yet. Yuria spots the tree in the distance and they make their way over. At the entrance of the Silent Forest, curiosity fills Yuria, who takes a step across the boundary line of the forest. The demon tries to stop her from going in, but Yuria ignores him, thinking that she couldn't get lost here. But when she turns back, she sees that she is no longer near the entrance of the forest and is lost inside the Forest of Silence. The two adventurers and the demon are shocked that Yuria actually went into the forest. Without wasting time, the demon starts going into the forest behind her. The two adventurers try to stop him, but he tells them that if Yuria dies, he dies as well. The two adventurers think he is being sentimental and let him go inside the silent forest. The two think that their leader would have gotten lost along the way and decide to wait for the leader outside the entrance. Inside the Forest of Silence, the demon feels himself being drawn towards a random direction. As he heads into the direction, he runs into Yuria and the leader of the two adventures. The leader reveals that there is a very dangerous monster in this forest and that there are heroes in the forest who he has been staying with. He leads the duo to where he left the heroes and goes to introduce them. Suddenly, the main hero demands to know what Yuria and starts attacking her, but the demon blocks attacks. The demon gets angry and the hero tells him that he doesn't want to fight him. He's only interested in knowing what Yuria is. The demon gets a flashback to when he made the deal with Yuria to spare his life. The two conditions that Yuria gave him were he would die if Yuria died, and whenever her life will be in danger, his powers will be restored until he defeats the enemy, and that the only way to get out of this contract is through death. The demon starts fighting with the hero and quickly overpowers him, but he is suddenly interrupted by the hat-wearing companion of the hero. They all decide that fighting will not help them escape. Suddenly, a unicorn, drawn by the power of their fighting, appears behind Yuria and transforms into the monster of the Forest of Silence. The group of heroes, along with Yuria and the demon, are forced to fight against the monster of the Forest of Silence. The heroes are easily overpowered by the monster, and the demon is no longer able to use his powers. Suddenly, the holy sword falls near Yuria. She picks it up and is easily able to cut the monster with it, leaving the hero surprised as only the chosen one can wield the holy sword without dying. Yuria names the holy sword Hapa-elo, and with it she begins slicing up pieces of the monster. Eventually, the monster gets tired and shoots a strong energy blast at her. The monster of the Forest of Silence charges up a strong energy blast to fire at the heroes, the demon and Yuria, which causes the demon to regain his powers. He picks up Yuria and gets ready to run away to avoid the attack and leave everyone behind. Suddenly, a mysterious figure in armor appears and blocks the monster's attack with his shield. When the dust clears, the monster has disappeared, and the new figure offers to lead the others to a safe place. On the way, the group gets suspicious of their new member and asks him where he is taking them. The new figure reveals the history of the forest. He reveals that the forest was once a place filled with magical fairy-like beings. Then one day an entity entered the forest and did something terrible, leading the fairies to be divided. The beast that they were fighting earlier was also multiple corrupted fairies merged together. The remaining good fairies decided to lock the beast inside the forest so that neither it nor anything else could ever escape. The mysterious figure leads the group to a large tree at the center of the forest. He tells them that they can relax there as the beast can't enter it, and reveals that he is also one of the fairies. The fairies ask the group to introduce themselves. After introductions are done, they realize that all of them come from different timelines and that the hero with them is the first hero in history, Allah, and the one fated to defeat the Demon King. The group then decides to work together to defeat the monster and lift the curse on the forest. The fairy reveals that the monster can also control time and that it is the reason that all of them from different times are here. The group quickly realizes that the monster ran away because it was scared of Yuria, and their best option to kill it is to use her. The fairy leads Alla to meet with the other fairies while the others come up with a plan. When they return, the fairy reveals that the other fairies do not want Yuria in their forest, and that she isn't a fairy from this forest. The demon comes up with a plan to defeat the monster. He makes the hat guy and Yuria the main part of the plan. The hat guy will lure the monster towards the others, and then the others will help Yuria to defeat it. But the monster can turn back time for 1 minute before it has to recharge. So they would have to defeat the monster twice. The demon comes up with 2 scenarios, a good one and a bad one. For the monster to turn back time, the good will happen if the monster turns back time after the hat guy lures it away and before the group arrives to fight it. The bad scenarios will happen if it turns back time and goes to the point before the hat guy lures it away. Since Yuria can sense if the monster has turned back time, the demon tells her to immediately run towards Hat Guy if she senses something off. The group gets ready to execute their plan, and the Hat Guy quickly finds the monster in its unicorn form. He begins to lure it towards the others when suddenly it freezes and runs away. The Hat Guy turns around and follows it. Yuria also senses something is off and runs towards the Hat Guy. She finds the beast trying to run away and quickly swings Hapa-elo towards it. The group are patiently waiting for a signal for the fight to start. Suddenly, the talisman given by the hat guy starts glowing, signaling that the monster has reset time again. They quickly follow the talisman to the area where the monster and Yuria are fighting. Along the way, the demon realizes that the monster didn't run away last time because of Yuria, but because there was someone else there to fight it. When they reach there, they find out that the monster has used a powder to put Yuria to sleep. The monster then transforms into a centaur-like form and begins attacking the group. The barbarian warns them that this is the monster's most powerful form and that they have to be careful. It attacks the barbarian and kills him. After that, it goes on to attack the hat guy, but he is saved when the fairy pushes him away. But the fairy is left badly injured by the monster. The demon quickly realizes that he cannot use his powers and that they need Yuria to defeat the monster. He shouts at Allah to wake her up as she is their only hope. Allah goes to hit Yuria to wake her up but is stopped when he hears a voice shouting at them. From inside the suit of armor, a voice comes. It angrily tells them that the reason the monster cannot go back to the cave is because it has broken the fairy's rule of taking a life. The voice gets out of the suit of armor and reveals itself to be a small fairy threatening all of them to kill the monster or that it will kill all of them herself. The fairy flies off towards the monster and destroys it using a huge blast. But the monster immediately regenerates itself. Allah and the fairy team up to fight against the monster, but for every monster they destroy, a new body emerges. Meanwhile, the demon tries to wake up Yuria as she is the only one who can beat the monster. When she wakes up, he uses her to attack the monster, making it hurt for the first time. The monster then tries to run away from them, but Allah locks it in a duel using his powers. Yuria explains to the group about casualty, a blessing that overpowered beings gain from the universe in order to help them finish their story. Allah explains that he also has a blessing from the church in order to fight against the Demon King. He explains that he had always thought he had to be the one to fight against the Demon King without choice. But now he realizes that this is his story, and he will complete it however he wants. The scene changes to Allah starts fighting the monster, and while fighting he gets flashbacks of the time he spent fighting against the Demon King. He saw his group leader being killed by the Demon King, then ran away and was beaten and chased away by his people for not sacrificing himself. They even sent an assassin after him to finish him off. And finally, how he started doubted himself and arrived at the Forest of Silence. In the present, he fights against the monster, dodging the monster's attacks and using his own attacks that were more powerful. In the end, he boldly claims that he is not the hero fated to defeat the Demon King, but he is the first hero. Finally, after a long battle, Allah is able to bring the monster to its knees and uses Hapa Elo to defeat the monster. Suddenly, time around them stops, and the group is transported back in time to when the group had found Yuria and the hat guy near the monster. Allah is ready to slap Yuria awake when she suddenly wakes and asks why he isn't fighting the monster. Off to the side, the demon is also confused. This time, as the monster sent them back in time, he was also able to remember it. He figures out that the monster always launches a great attack after reversing time. Taking advantage of the situation, he knows that the monster will attack Allah, so he sends Allah near Yuria. Suddenly, the monster charges a giant attack and aims it at Yuria and Allah. This causes the demon's powers to reactivate, and he is able to defeat the monster in just 2 attacks. Allah is left amazed by this and asks the hat guy to explain how the demon looks like. The hat guy has never seen demons before, but he claims that the demon is a devil. As soon as the monster is defeated, the fairies begin kicking everyone out of the forest. Once everyone else has been kicked out and only Yuria is left, the fairies of the forest reveal themselves to her. The fairies reveal that they knew that Yuria is the king of the sea and that they knew the king before her as well. They warn her that if she continues on her journey above land, that she will bring their world to destruction. Yuria insults the fairies and tells them that she doesn't care about the casualty of the world, she only cares about the path that she walks on. The fairies thank her for her help and then give her some important information before kicking her out as well. At the entrance of the forest, the 2 adventurers are still waiting for their leader to arrive. Suddenly, they hear a noise behind them and turn around to see their leader along with Yuria and the demon coming out of the forest. The trio is very happy to reunite, and the leader is even thankful to Yuria and promises to help her if she ever needs it. The group part ways to go back to their home, but as they are moving away, the demon hears the leader tell the other about the fairy they met and how small it was. This makes the demon very suspicious of the leader, as the only ones who should remember the size of the fairy in armor are him and Yuria. Later, when the duo arrive back at their tent, they find they are shocked to find the fairy they helped waiting for them.